Hello, I'm Rashmi Bhandary and today I've got my student Shrishali from the CS branch. Hello Shrishali.
Hello ma'am.
Yeah. So Shrishali has cleared Deloitte and so let's hear it from her, right, about the whole process. So what was the eligibility, Shrishali, and what was the designation?
Eligibility was, it was open to all branch and should have an aggregate CGP of 6.5 and above and no active backlog.
Okay.
And the designation was of product engineer.
Oh, open to all branch, not CS, IAS, EC, even mechanical.
Yeah, anyone can write.
Oh wow, so if you're a mechanical student or a civil student, you can still apply. Great. So the package is somewhere around
7.25.
7.25, which is very good, LPA, alright. Okay, so now what are the rounds?
So there were 3 rounds. First was an online assessment followed by 2 technical interviews. So in online assessment there were 3 sections. All the 3 sections were of coding only. So in first section was of, it had only 1 question of easy level. Second section 2 questions of medium level, and in third section 1 question of hard level. All these questions were a bit hard to solve like compared to other exams.
Yeah. So can you give some examples if you remember the questions?
Yeah, I remember one question of easy level. So the question was to find a subset of an array in Python. So that question was comparatively easy than the rest 2 sections. Then medium and hard level had most of the problems on graph, so which was quite difficult to solve.
So you solved all the 3 or?
I solved 2 problems. One is easy and the one is medium, and the one I had got partial output, not the complete output.
Alright. But you don't remember even vaguely how it was?
No.
Something, because if someone is listening and preparing.
It's completely on graph, like you have to find the cycles, number of cycles involved from one node to another. Completely like that. I don't remember the exact questions.
But like it is difficult. Why is it difficult? Because you don't solve such things?
Yeah.
Or?
So first section was easy. Like I had solved many problems on array. But graph, I have not solved many problems on that. So I found it little difficult to solve.
Not difficult, very difficult, okay? Because very few people cleared. Then okay. And then after that, what was the next round?
Technical interview. So there were 2 technical interviews. So my first technical interview was completely based on my internship. Like they had asked, first question was about my internship, like where did I do my internship, what was my roles and responsibility, in which technology I had worked. I told I had worked on React. So they started asking questions on React, like what is React, some basic questions on React. And then they asked me, are you interested in web development? I said yes. So they started asking questions on HTML and CSS. So in HTML, they did not ask any theoretical questions. So they wanted to check how good I am in problem solving. So they had asked me to place one container in a screen. Like they had asked me to draw and show how we can place a container in a screen without specifying its width and height. So that was little tricky to do. And then they had asked me to, like, by applying CSS property, by specifying its width and height, now how you will place it in a container. So similar questions they had asked, like, and in CSS also they had asked me to apply a property to one container, and basically a child container, how will you apply a property to a child container. So questions were more on that, HTML and CSS, since I have told I was interested in web development, that's why. Then they are asked, which is your favorite programming language? I told Python. Like then they asked, justify why do you like Python? What's so easy in Python? So I tried to convince them why I chose Python compared to other programming language. Then they gave me one programming question in Python to solve. So the question was simple. They had given me a list of array. I have to check whether that list is a palindrome or not. And I was able to do that. So then they told me to optimize it. Optimize in the sense, try to reduce the time complexity to solve that problem. So that was little tricky to do, so but I could manage it.
Alright.
Yeah. So then next questions were on DBMS. So first basics question, they only asked me like what did all you know about DBMS, what topics. So I just started listing out all the topics. So questions were on that only, what is DBMS, what is transaction. Then they gave me one table and they told me to normalize that table, like apply 5 normalization form and split the table. So normalization is basically reducing the redundancy in the table. So that was a little tricky, like in colleges we learn only theory, so when it comes to apply to practical it will be a little difficult to solve. So I had to apply 5 normalization form. Then some basics questions on data structures, operating system and networking. That was all about my first technical interview.
So you had 2 technical interviews?
2 technical.
Alright. So if someone has to go for this sort of technical interview, what should they keep in mind or how should they prepare?
There are many platforms, ma'am, where they can prepare. Like for coding, there are Hacker and CodeChef where they can prepare, they can practice problems. So and even there are many tutorials, courses they can do in NPTEL. NPTEL is better than other, I feel, because I have done many courses in NPTEL. So you get certificate and that has value also, that's credit also.
So it is free or you have to pay?
No, for the exam you have to pay. Course it's free.
So you have done it what? You have done it free of cost, or did you pay?
No, I have paid for the C programming thing. I have paid, so I had got one certificate.
How much do you pay for this?
It depends, ma'am. Mine was around 500.
Okay, so that's not high.
Yeah.
It's a nominal.
It's like for course is free, but if you want to, if you want a certificate, if you want to write exam, it will be like remote exam. If you go and write, if it is that, then you have to pay, but it will be very useful.
All right.
NPTEL compared to other, I did many courses in NPTEL.
How many did you do?
3
courses.
Yeah, compared to other. That 3 courses also.
So how many in your class had done in this course?
Ma'am, many have done, because from college they keep on telling do courses. I did it during lockdown time, so many will be doing the courses.
Okay. All right.
So my second technical interview. So this technical interview was completely based on my resume. So I had mentioned about many concepts which I know. So they started asking everything about that. But this round they mainly focused not on the theoretical answer. They were not expecting any theoretical answer. They wanted a practical example for everything, a real-time example. For example, they asked what is JavaScript, and they were not satisfied if I tell a one line or one word about JavaScript. They give a real-time example. Where will you apply that? So it was completely primarily focused on my level of understanding, how much I know about the subject.
Yeah, but I just like to pause. Every interview is like that. Every time they expect you to answer like this only. People will give a definition or just that, but no, you have to just carry on. Maybe you start off with the definition and then you give the application an example to show that you have understood it. Otherwise, they have to ask, okay, now give an example. So to actually avoid, we are so used to just telling this either yes, no answers, or maybe at the most, like you said, a sentence.
Yeah.
So that's why they have to say, okay, tell us more.
Yeah.
Where will you apply? How is this? How is that? Actually, it is not their work to do that. It's that kindness that they are asking such questions. Okay, they're just probing you. But actually, they don't have to, because if you start with a one-word answer, okay, fine, that's it, go. Because there are others who will explain it completely. Got it? So actually, it is really nice that the interviewer took so much of trouble to probe you to get the answer. Whereas you had to give the answer that way. It's not like, okay, that one-word answer.
Yeah. So they were just checking our level of understanding, how good we are.
Yes.
So the questions were on the basic topic, on DPMS. So DPMS questions were more on DPMS in both the technical interview.
Okay, like what questions?
What is transaction, what is normalization, what is DPMS, difference between DPMS and RDPMS, not theoretical, they wanted give example for every question whichever I answered. Then on networking and operating system also, so that questions were simple, basic questions, like what is networking, operating system. Then since I had mentioned about my internship, so they started asking questions more on React, in depth they asked in second interview.
Okay, so where did you do your internship?
It was an online internship, ma'am, in web development. So I did it in Suvida Foundation.
Okay, so that helped you.
Yeah, that
because
helped
both were, every time they were asking on your...
Both the technical interview, they were primarily focused on my internship because they are working on React. So that's why they were happy when I told I learned React.
Okay.
So the questions were more on that.
Alright. Okay. So how long did this interview go?
First interview around 30 minutes and the second around 15 minutes.
Alright. Okay. Alright. So anything that you would want to tell the viewers or the juniors who are watching, how should anyone prepare for a company like Deloitte or any core product company?
First, you should be thorough with your basics. So that is where you can stand out. Just learning the concept is not enough. You should have a practical knowledge of everything, whatever you learn, because this will help you somewhere. And also, there are many platforms available nowadays. You can practice, practice HackerRank, CodeChef, Lead Code. So there are lots.
Yeah, but people don't. And they do it in the final year or in the third year. See, start off in the first, second year itself. You have an edge.
So if you start from second year only, first year is better. If you practice aptitude in first year, then from second year you can focus on your main subject. So that will be better. If you start practicing aptitude now, then it will be difficult. it will be like you
Yes,
can't
and in the end, like you have to do your aptitude, you have to do your projects, you have to do your internship and the technical and what all you will do, right?
So
split it.
Year is the best thing where you can practice. You have a lot of time, but once you enter your branch, you will not have any time. Like you have to do project, internship, so it will be very difficult. So in first year, and if you start practicing aptitude, so keep aptitude for first year, then start with your subjects from second year. So it will be really helpful.
Okay, and those competitive coding, please do competitive coding. Otherwise, you'll not clear any good company. And what is your percentage, by the way?
CGPA was 9.45.
Oh my God! See, and the cutoff for this was
6.5.
See, 6.5, but the one who gets selected is 9.45. Look at it. All right. Okay. So, do you think there's a relation between marks and knowledge?
There is no relationship, ma'am. For getting marks are needed, but it's all about how do you learn. That matters.
But then how come there is no correlation between marks and knowledge? Because the marks is based on engineering subjects or something else?
Marks are based on engineering subject. We get marks based on engineering subject only, but it's like more we learn, like from engineering, there'll be not there'll be little thing, but we have to learn more from.
Yeah, but then don't you see there's a correlation? There is a correlation. You may, the only thing is maybe what you have studied was theory based, alright, but at least you had some theory knowledge. Actually, you getting clear up to the final year, because I've got the feedback from the company, at least they knew some theory. If not total application, at least theory is there, right? So don't miss out, okay? Don't think, because see, every time I ask students over here the marks, and you always see that they always score very good marks. So there definitely is a correlation between marks and your subject knowledge, because you are studying engineering and your marks is also your engineering marks. How is there no correlation? There is a correlation. Of course, for the campuses, it's beyond that. But if this is a foundation, if you don't have that basic theory, then you don't even know the application, right?
That I agree.
Yeah, you have to agree. Even if you agree or you don't agree, I'm telling you the fact, because I've been doing this for 20 years, okay? So I know everywhere. So this is what, because somehow students think, oh, 6.5. So that means even if I get 6.5, I can write the company. Yes, you can write, but you should see the final selects. We hardly got 5 selects out of our total strength is 750, okay, and if you take all the students 750, then why is it that only 5 are clearing finally? 750 open to all branches, right? Because half of them are filtered in the marks itself, 6.5 CGPA, half of them you can remove, and then again you have just because you've got 6.5, you may not have the in-depth knowledge of your subject, and just because you have 9.5 also you don't have in-depth knowledge. But you definitely would have more knowledge than the 6.5, you think?
Yeah, yes ma'am.
Yeah? Yes, for that you agree. That's all I want to check. So you have more knowledge than someone who has got 6.5.
Yeah, because you'll be very thorough with the theoretical.
At least theory you know.
Yes,
this fellow doesn't even know theory. Then how will he know application?
Yeah, that's it.
See, people think that I don't have theory, I have no application. But then you don't know the theory, then how do you apply, right? But it's not that only marks. See, that's the whole thing is that's why not only marks. That's why the company is doing competitive coding. That's why the company is checking on your internship. They're checking on your project, because it's not only the marks. If mark is there, then okay, fine. No test. All 9 CGPA come. No. Again, they have a test to check the application, but marks definitely is important. Why I'm telling this is, suppose you're in the first year or in the second year, try to improve your marks, okay? Just get a higher percentage, because you get higher percentage just by studying, alright? So that is really the thing, nice. And please do competitive coding, so Hacker Earth, Hacker Rank, alright? All that you'll have to do, otherwise you will not clear, okay? Code Chef and what?
Lead Code.
Lead Code, Geeks for Geeks. Yeah, all these are platforms you should start working in the second year itself, if not in the first year. Start in the first year, but at least in the second year, please go and start working seriously. So thank you so much. This is really helpful, and wishing you all the very best till we meet again. Bye.
Thank you.
Yes.